are all helpless. I also heard that the Tianyuan Empress is currently resting in the Hall of Mental Cultivation and must not be angered. Therefore, all political affairs have been handed over to the great ministers. The content of these conversations became more and more outrageous. This is a once-in-a-thousand-years opportunity. The arrogant Empress cannot purge us old ministers. Now we must make her regret her arrogance. Yes, we must drag her down from the throne and trample her into the ground. Even the soldiers in the city were very concerned. Upper General Sha Wu, who has been stationed at the border for many years, has returned to the capital. I know, he returned to the general's residence last night. But the Empress didn't order General Sha Wu to return to the capital, did she? So, was this the Empress's own order, or did the great ministers decide on their own? In the tea house, people were still buzzing, unaware that Jiang Li, who was nearby, was hearing everything. Upper General Sha Wu is an integration stage cultivator who has killed countless people, so he has enough influence for the upcoming rebellion. It seems this imperial city is about to experience another turmoil. He tilted his head back and drained his teacup. It seems Yu Yin's plan is proceeding quite smoothly. Huh? Although I want to ask her about the divine treasury cult. Since she has gathered enough power to attempt the tribulation transcendent stage, I shouldn't disturb her. A name immediately appeared in Jiang Li's train of thought. Sha Wu. The secret upper general mentioned by the Long family's old ancestor is probably a member of this divine treasury cult. The teacup in his hand was placed on the table. He left to find that person. Starting with him is fine too. At the general's residence, the atmosphere was shrouded in a chilling, unsettling silence. Unfortunately for Jiang Li, the person he was looking for was now just a cold corpse. Faced with this scene, his expression did not change. Sha Wu is dead. Sha Wu's body was surrounded by an investigation team. The deceased is Sha Wu, holding the rank of upper general. The preliminary time of death is 1 shurchen ago, killed by a single blow, his soul scattered and dispersed. The killer is unknown. From the evidence, it is presumed the perpetrator was someone trusted by the deceased. Jiang Li hovered invisibly above, able to observe the entire scene. 1 shurchen ago, I ran into the old man from the divine treasury cult. It seems I need someone to help me confirm this. In the imperial court, a place usually bustling with people coming and going, everyone busy with their own tasks. He walked brazenly into the main hall. Gigi, do you have time now? Seeing Gigi's expression, Jiang Li quickly preempted him. I'm not asking about that. In his hand were several brain-boosting pills from the Dao sect. He sighed inwardly. No wonder Gigi can only maintain the spirit transformation realm. It turns out he's too busy to have time to cultivate. Gigi lamented while swallowing the pills. The dark circles under his eyes were very prominent. Do you have any idea how much trouble a temporary decree related to spirit treasures can cause? Speak, what do you want from me? Jiang Li then recounted what he had just overheard. Good news. General Sha Wu, who has been harassing your great Zhou at the border, is dead. His expression improved considerably. When did this happen? 1 shurchen ago. But Gigi knew Jiang Li too well. Surely you didn't come here just to bring me this good news? He didn't hesitate to get straight to the point. By the way, I want you to help me find the killer. He sighed, pointing to his own dark, sunken eyes. Recently, to achieve the best effect for the decree, I've used my time pupils multiple times, almost blinding myself. If you're not in a hurry, wait for 10 or so days. When my eyes have recovered, I'll help you. Investigate. Gigi's eyes were full of contemplation, as if weighing something. A second later, his lips curled up. But if you're in a hurry, you can ask Kong Kong for help. Jiang Li knew this little girl. Ji Kong Kong is Gigi's youngest daughter, the 19th princess of the Great Zhou. He was very surprised. She's only 7 or 8 years old, but she's already at the first 3 levels of the Qi refinement stage and can already learn to trace back time. With a proud expression, Gigi boasted about his daughter. You would know this. My Kong Kong, since birth, was not in human form, but a little white fish, exactly like what the ancestors recorded. She could only transform into a human at the age of 3. His eyes were filled with love as he spoke of Ji Kong Kong. In terms of talent for time, she surpasses me by far, and might even be on par with the first ancestor. Hearing this, Jiang Li couldn't help but exclaim. If that's the case, Ji Kong Kong's future can be said to be limitless. He left, satisfied. All right then, I'll go find her. Gigi hurriedly chased after him. Wait a moment. His hand gripped Jiang Li's shoulder tightly, his face threatening. You must protect my girl. If she loses even a single hair, our friendship is over. I know. In the inner court, there was a quiet lotus pond, its still surface reflecting the clouds in the sky. By the pond's edge, Ji Kong Kong, in the form of a little white fish, was reading a book. As expected, it's easier to comprehend in the little white fish form. Seeing Jiang Li slowly descend, the little girl cried out, "Uncle Jiang." Being a child, Ji Kong Kong carelessly reverted to her human form in front of him, causing her two maids to panic. "Princess, please put on your clothes first." "Where are the clothes? Bring them over quickly." While waiting for Ji Kong Kong to get dressed, he noticed something on the ground. "Is this the book your great Zhou royal family uses to learn the Tao of Time? Can I take a look? Who knows? I might be able to learn the Tao of Time too." The little girl agreed immediately. "Of course you can." But as soon as Jiang Li opened it, he saw nothing but 2 lines of text. "Brother Jiang, stop reading. You can't learn it." His hands trembled with anger, while Ji Kong Kong beside him said innocently, "Father Emperor wrote this sentence in all the books about the Tao of Time." The time was now late afternoon, and the color of the sky was gradually changing. Jiang Li flew through the sky with Ji Kong Kong. "Kong Kong, how far back can you turn time?" Being at this altitude made the little girl excited. When asked, she smiled happily, 6 Shurchin. "Father Emperor told me that in all the history books, my talent is the best in the Ji family." Hearing this, he couldn't help but be surprised. She's only at the 3rd level of Qi refinement. Yet Ji said she can touch the Tao and even use it fluently. This is truly unimaginable. Then Jiang Li nodded slightly in satisfaction. "Not bad at all." Ji Kong Kong immediately looked overjoyed. "Wonderful, Uncle Jiang praised me." Jiang Li's face was full of unwillingness. Someone else's child is only at the 3rd level of Qi refinement and can already trace back 6 Shurchin, while I, a Mahayana stage cultivator, can't even do it for a single second. In his haste to bring the little girl over, he had forgotten an important issue. "That's right. Have you ever seen a dead person?" He felt a little self-reproachful. After all, Kong Kong is just a 7 or 8-year-old child. Is it too cruel to let her turn back time and witness a murder scene? I hope it doesn't leave her with psychological trauma. Suddenly, Ji Kong Kong's expression fell, and she said sadly, "I have. An older sister was jealous of my talent and wanted to kill me. Then my mother blocked the blow for me." His eyes were fixed on Ji Kong Kong as she told her story. "That's why I worked hard to comprehend the Tao of Time, so I could go back and see my mother." Jiang Li's hand gently ruffled Ji Kong Kong's head as if to encourage her. After flying for a while, the two arrived at the general's residence, which was still sealed off. Jiang Li knelt on one knee to match the little girl's height. "Are you really okay? Don't force yourself. I have other ways." He felt extremely uncomfortable inside. "I'm starting to regret listening to Ji. Bringing Kong Kong here, now that I think about it, it's obvious that bastard brother Ji wants to train the girl's state of mind. He won't do it himself, yet he pushes it onto me." Thinking of Ji's expression at that time, a vein throbbed on Jiang Li's forehead, and he even pretended to ask Kong Kong to help me. "It seems handling court affairs isn't enough to occupy your brain, is it? You still have the leisure to plot against me." Ignoring his words, Ji Kong Kong immediately summoned a formation in her hands. "No problem, watch me." The formation stirred up a wind, and the little girl's body glowed, gradually fading. In an instant, she disappeared completely, leaving Jiang Li alone on the roof. A moment later, Ji Kong Kong returned to report. The killer suddenly appeared behind the general. The general didn't have time to react and was killed by the assassin. I couldn't see the killer's face clearly. The little girl pointed towards the distant mountains. I only know that he went in this direction and disappeared into a secret realm. Jiang Li used a spell to see through the mist. Although it was on the mountainside, the surroundings were shrouded in clouds and mist. Looking with the naked eye, the visibility was limited to about 20 meters, very suitable for hiding something. Yet he discovered 2 figures. There was a nascent soul cultivator leading a golden core cultivator standing at the entrance of the secret realm. Then Jiang Li spoke again. "Check if the killer has come out of the secret realm." Ji Kong Kong agreed, disappearing once more. This time, she reported again. "In these few Shurchin, people have only gone in and no one has left." Over on the other side of the mountains, under the lush green canopy, the fatter man, a perfected one, said to the other, "Ziki, I will take you inside." Both Jiang Li and Ji Kong Kong had already appeared behind them. "Excuse me, are you two planning to enter the organization from here?" Seeing the strangers arrive, the man didn't seem surprised at all. He raised his hand to stop Ziki, who was getting into a defensive stance. "Fellow Taoist, you've guessed wrong. The Imperial City is in chaos right now. my brother, and I just want to get away from the imperial city and escape the storm. What organization are you talking about? This person is also a nascent soul. A glow appeared in his hand. Fellow Taoist, would you mind taking a look at this first? This was the power of merit that I separated from the old man. As if recognizing something, the man moved forward to dispel it. Stop. The perfected one gestured towards the secret realm, and it immediately split open to form a path. He jutted his chin, ordering, "Get into the secret realm. Stop muttering and grumbling." The perfected one seemed to chide him. Fellow Taoist, you are truly reckless. The divine treasury power cannot be displayed so casually. Seeing that the other party was strong, his own calculations began to stir. If this person has the divine treasury power, it proves he knows something about the situation within the cult. Whether he is friend or foe, the high-level experts in the cult will be able to clarify later. Under the watchful gaze of the statue of the venerable divine treasury, there's no worry he can cause any trouble. Jiangli quickly made up a story for the two of them. My sister and I are from the Long family of dragons, Roar City. My name is Long Li, and this is my younger sister, Ji Kong. The situation was urgent, and our old ancestors' instructions were rushed and not very clear. I hope fellow Taoists can forgive us. His glib tongue made the innocent Ji Kong's jaw drop. Father Emperor told me that if I went out with Uncle Jiang, I might lose my surname. No worries, this is normal. I didn't expect to lose it so soon. Jiangli continued to tell his sob story. I don't know where that bastard city lord got his information, but he knew our old ancestor was healing Long Tan Shui and could not be disturbed during that time. He seized the opportunity and secretly injured our old ancestor. The old ancestor had no choice but to fight him desperately. In the end, he made one wrong move and was utterly defeated. He recited a string of some old ancestors' final words. My sister and I are the last descendants of the Long family. Before he passed away, the old ancestor told us to go to the highest mountain near the imperial dynasty, where clouds and smoke surround the mountainside. If we could find traces of people on the southern slope, those would be people of the organization. Jiang Li's left hand suddenly glowed with a golden light. The old ancestor also gave me this light, saying that as long as I showed it to the people of the organization, they would understand everything. After hearing his words, the perfected one searched his memory. I only heard that the old dragon head of dragons, Roar City, was beaten to death by someone. I also know he hadn't joined the cult, but only had contact with Priestly of the Divine Treasury cult, often bringing people to Priestly. A thought flashed through his mind. Could it be that Priestly told the old dragon head the address of our cult? Unfortunately, Priestly is out, and I don't know when he'll be back. Jiangli then asked him about the light in his hand. May I ask, fellow Taoist, what is this power? Why can't I absorb it? But the perfected one didn't answer. He just turned and walked away. Since you have come to this secret realm, you can only join our cult. We happen to have gathered 19 people, enough to conduct the initiation ceremony. I will be presiding over it shortly. He and the other person also introduced themselves. You can call me Perfected Phone. I'm going to prepare. You two stay here. My name is Chung Ziki. Through his divine sense, Jiang Li determined that the highest cultivation level of the people in this secret realm was only the soul transformation stage. The culprit was definitely not one of these people. General Sha Wu was a body integration stage cultivator who fought year-round. How could a soul transformation stage cultivator kill him? He glanced at the intricate marks on the gate, but the secret realm only had one exit. Where could the culprit have gone? His purple eyes narrowed slightly. No one could disguise themselves under my divine sense, unless that person was an immortal. The Rui Gourd was summoned. If I can't find a culprit, then I'll see what this cult's initiation ritual is. All right, he instructed it. Rui Gourd, you're clever. Protect the little girl well. Yes, little miss, I'll protect you. No, you take this. Ji Kong was very excited. Uncle Jiang is using a secret voice transmission to talk to me. It's a secret conversation. When the entire group was standing on the red marks, the perfected one began to speak. Perhaps you all do not yet believe in the divine treasury, thinking that the power of the divine treasury that the disciples of the divine treasury cult claim can raise one's cultivation level, avoid inner demons, and heal the body is a fanciful notion. He gathered a stream of blue-white energy aimed at his chest. Now, I will demonstrate for you all. I will shatter my nascent soul. Shungziki was astonished by the man's recklessness. Heavens, he really shattered it. The nascent soul is evolved from the golden core. Once the nascent soul shatters, one doesn't fall to the golden core stage, but drops straight to the foundation establishment stage. Is it necessary to be so cruel just to proselytize? Only Jiang Li and Ji Kong remained as calm as ever. It was just a shattered nascent soul, completely normal. The perfected one continued his demonstration. Now, I will use the power of the divine treasury in my body to restore my nascent soul to its original state. Golden energy wrapped around the already shattered nascent soul. It quickly condensed back to its complete form. The onlookers were shocked by the scene. Normally, once a nascent soul shatters, one could only go bankrupt to buy a wind-returning and fire-reversing pill from the Tao sect to heal it, but they had never seen a certain kind of power used to recover. It was so impressive that many became suspicious. Is that the power of the divine treasury? Does it really exist? Or is it some kind of heretical art? The perfected one formed a hand seal and said, "Now, I will recite the Mahasana Sutra, which the demon cult master obtained a dream." Hearing the whole passage made Jiang Li scoff internally. The scripture was long-winded, convoluted, and obscure. If a crude person like Zhang Konghu heard it, he would say, "What the hell is this?" He automatically understood its meaning, and the scripture translated itself. Each word flowed smoothly in his mind. The divine treasury venerable was born in the immortal realm, a natural-born deity, omniscient and omnipotent, the sole existence in the world, innately aware of the infinite potential of the human body. There is a hidden divine treasury, and as long as one can open it, everyone can be a deity. In the illusory golden realm, the will of the god appeared, but in his eyes, both immortals and mortals were ignorant and foolish beings, with mortals being slightly more foolish. He chose a representative in the countless mortal worlds to tell the foolish living beings the secret of the divine treasury, hoping for a deity equal to him to appear, to relieve his boredom and discuss the Tao with him. The text was as long as a memorial, so Jiang Li grew bored. Such boasting, yet so conservative. As a religious belief, if you don't claim to be born before the heavenly Tao, to have witnessed the creation of the world, to have tens of thousands of incarnations spread across the world, a single thought lasting an era, standing tall at the upper reaches of the river of time, untouched by countless karmic ties, able to turn the universe with a flick of a finger, then how can you be qualified to become a religious belief? But he also deduced the bewitching nature hidden in the scripture. This Mahasana Sutra was very similar to the scriptures of Confucianism and Buddhism. Repeated chanting could make the listener believe more deeply in the religion. Of course, improper use could also brainwash people. Each line of text swirled in circles around the reader. Perfected One Feng was reciting the scripture, increasing the believer's loyalty. Jiang Li looked down worriedly at little Ji Kong. Kong won't be affected, right? Fortunately, the Rui gourd had cast the soundless tribulation for Kong. The thing it cast was extremely effective. The soundless tribulation was originally a heavenly tribulation, specifically used to deal with those who cultivate great divine abilities like words become law and a single thought becomes reality. Within the soundless tribulation, both speech and inner thoughts are forbidden. Paired with a lightning tribulation, it makes these people obediently get struck by lightning. The protected Ji Kong was still playing with a string figure. Within the range of the soundless tribulation, there was no sound at all, so of course Kong would not be affected. I never thought the soundless tribulation could be used this way. It's been an eye-opener. The area transformed into a place that looked like a divine temple. The first ritual was listening to guidance. Now is the second ritual, testing sincerity. There was a white statue in the testing area that looked like it was made of plaster, and it also had purple marks. Jiang Li approached to look at the giant statue. It seems this is the statue of the divine treasury venerable. His eyes were cold. Its expression seemed very peaceful, compassionate towards heaven and the people. But it was a statue of an immortal made from human bones, which felt incongruous. On the statue's face itself, faint traces of skulls and human bones were visible. Moving away from the white statue, Jiang Li rejoined the group. He tried to investigate with his divine sense. The 3 cult members on the altar were all at the soul transformation stage, their status not low, likely the supervisors of the initiation ritual. The perfected one then pointed to the bound people. Each of you will kill 1 person. The result will determine whether you pass this second ritual. After hearing this, Chung Ziki couldn't help but feel guilty. We have to kill these innocent people? Isn't that a bit? Zhangli also felt uneasy. It's too much like the demonic path. People's fearful whispers could be heard. I've never heard that we have to kill people. What about what was said before about the divine treasury, venerable guiding believers to unearth the power of the divine treasury? To dispel the suspicion, the perfected one reassured them. These people are all death row inmates transported from the great prison of the Tian Yuan dynasty. There are people who must die. Now, it's just a matter of letting them die a more valuable death. As soon as he finished speaking, someone made a move. If perfected one Feng says so, then I won't argue unreasonably anymore. The merciless blade, thus, took a person's life. That should be considered a pass, right? Jiang Li silently considered. However, nothing happened at all. The perfected one just asked softly, "You don't believe in the great power of the divine treasury, venerable?" Of course I believe. But the man only sighed in disappointment and began to gather. A palm strike in his hand. Purple energy condensed, sharp as a sword, and pierced the throat of the person opposite him. If you don't trust the divine treasury, venerable, if you don't have faith in the divine treasury, venerable, no power of the divine treasury will be born. After finishing the deed, he was immediately enveloped by a golden light. Ziki's suspicion gradually faded, replaced by admiration. Now, perfected one Feng looks like a good person of immeasurable merit. I feel like I'm about to lose control and kneel in worship. The perfected one proudly explained what had just happened. This is the power of the divine treasury. But everything just made Jiang Li's face darken. This is the first time I've seen the process of obtaining the power of merit. The perfected one shouted in the middle of the testing area. Did you see? The power of the divine treasury is born from within the body and returns to the body. The power of the divine treasury was still visible on his hand. By circulating it, it can be accumulated, strengthening the body and becoming one's own. Contrary to that excitement, Jiang Li frowned. But in my eyes, the power of merit is born from the void. He recognized it at a glance. It entered perfected one Feng's body from above, finally entering inside perfected one Feng's body, becoming his own power. An image of an old book appeared in Jiang Li's mind, which was the process of the descent of the power of merit recorded in ancient books. Looking at the deluded crowd, he understood that only those who have reached the omnipotent tribulation transcendent stage of the immortal path could see it. Ordinary cultivators could only see the final result. The power of the divine treasury had truly been born on perfected one Feng's body. That's right, look, what he said is true. Moreover, the power of merit cannot be used by others. It has its own attributes. No wonder the disciples of the divine treasury firmly believe this stream of power originates from the divine treasury power within their bodies. The perfected one's recent demonstration became the beginning of a bloodbath. The crowd seemed to have lost their minds. I've killed. Why don't I have the power of the divine treasury yet? I believe the divine treasury venerable exists. The perfected one then instructed, just believing the venerable exists is not enough. You must also believe the venerable is the one and only. Your faith cannot have any flaws. We believe you still need some time to adapt, so you'll be probationary members for a while. This is the venerable's test for you. All right. It turned out that among these crazed people, there was a sober one. Even if I don't mind killing, I can't believe in some venerable. It's too absurd. I have to slip away quickly. As a soul transformation cultivator, they can't do anything to me. Unfortunately, the perfected one's subordinate quickly ended that person's life. The power of the two subordinates also increased because of it. Jiang Li just watched the scene silently without saying anything. The test continued. Next person, who's being tested? Ziki volunteered. But I have a question to ask. Speak. He asked, Perfected One, you said earlier that we need to believe the venerable is the one and only. What does that mean? The perfected one immediately gave the answer. Sleeping, eating, getting married, making money, cultivating. He clasped both hands high above his head. Everything must be done revolving around the divine treasury venerable. Everything must manifest the will of the divine treasury venerable. The venerable is your everything. The perfected one while clasping his hands and speaking as if reciting a scripture, was still able to answer the question. Even now, as you are presiding over the initiation ritual, is that also the will of the divine treasury venerable? Everything manifests the will of the divine treasury venerable. That detailed explanation made Gyani realize the standard for joining the divine treasury cult is quite high. One must also have this spiritual enlightenment. Even if I truly believed in a character like the divine treasury venerable, I couldn't believe that everything I do is inseparable from the divine treasury venerable. He glanced at the statue again. Moreover, why must one go through the divine treasury venerable to receive the power of merit? Where did this top-tier immortal jump out from? He prayed silently in his heart. I hope it's not the possibility that even I don't want to believe. After hearing the explanation, Chung Ziki struck with his blade. I understand. Seeing the light on himself, he was pleased. This is great. I'm the first one among the people here to obtain the power of the divine treasury. The perfected one's subordinates whispered to each other. It seems we have a good seed this time. The others with wavering faith can be killed. But Gyani heard every word they said. Using a secret voice transmission in front of me is no different from using a loudspeaker. But they were also scrutinizing him. This person named Long Li doesn't believe in the divine treasury venerable at all. He doesn't even bother to pretend. After he kills someone, we'll finish him off. Seeing that he was in danger, Gyani quickly put on an act. The subordinates were stunned. What? After killing someone, this Long Li received the power of the divine treasury? In fact, it was all part of Gyani's plan. I extorted quite a few things from that old man Baozha. Although I can't use them, it's not a problem to use them to make up the numbers. Unwilling to accept that their judgment was flawed, they shifted their target to Ji Kong. What about this little girl then? Since the first ritual, she's been drawing, playing with string, and even sleeping. Her faith in the divine treasury venerable can't possibly be the same as mine. But at that moment, the little girl's body also lit up brightly. The perfected one's jaw dropped. She passed too. Ji Kong looked at her hands innocently. We have all seen your faith in the venerable. You are qualified to become a missionary. Is it because I'm pretty? The Rui Gord smugly explained. This is called the free illusionary realm tribulation. It can make the tribulation transcender enter an illusionary realm at will. I made them fall into an illusion, seeing you obtain the power of merit. The little girl's eyes sparkled upon hearing this. The gourd is so amazing. Let me tell you, as long as you follow me in this world, you can go anywhere and do anything you want. Ji Kong asked casually, are you as amazing as Human Emperor Uncle Jiang? But the Rui gourd grimaced. Guess why I'm not with my master right now, but here instead. The test was coming to an end. Chung Ziki, Long Li, Long Kong Kong, we have all seen your faith in the venerable. You are qualified to become missionaries. Now is the third ritual, which is also the final ritual, taking water to swear an oath. The perfected one raised a bowl of water with both hands. This is holy water blessed by the venerable, containing the power to forbid speech and action. After drinking this water, you will not be able to use any tricks to reveal the information of our cult to the outside. After hearing the rambling, Gyani raised his hand. I want to ask, where is our cult master? The cult master. Why do you ask about this? I admire the cult master. I want to ask what position he sleeps in. I want to try it too. Insolent. After teasing the perfected one, Gyani didn't bother to continue and just clenched his fist. Except for him and Ji Kong, everyone else seemed to be trapped in an illusory cage. The perfected one was shocked by this. Space is frozen. I can't move. I can't even blink. It's not just me. This entire secret realm has been frozen in space by him. Ji Kong pulled on Jiang Li's sleeve with her small hand. Uncle Jiang, we haven't joined that religion yet. He knelt down and gently stroked the little girl's head. If I let you join, your imperial father will chase me down to kill me. Then I'll turn around and give him a beating. You don't want to see your imperial father like that, right? But Ji Kong became even more interested. I think the scene Uncle Jiang described sounds quite interesting. Jiang Li got down to business. Now let's turn back time a bit. Before, the culprit you saw, where did he go after coming here? Ji Kong obediently recounted, I saw that person come to the Great Hall, tear open space, and leave this place. Her words raised many questions in his heart. Tore open space and left? Kong Kong said it simply, but this is not something an ordinary cultivator can do. As far as he knew, Tearing open space couldn't lead directly back to the world of the 9 provinces, but required flying a very long distance in the void. This process required dealing with turbulent streams of violent wind. Even a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator couldn't return to the 9 provinces safely. Gyani stroked his chin in thought. There are only a few tribulation transcendent stage cultivators in the 9 provinces. I know them all. Who could it be? Or is it a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator? I don't know. That possibility seemed impossible because advancing from the body integration stage to the tribulation transcendent stage required undergoing a tumultuous heavenly tribulation. The entire 9 provinces continent would feel it. It's impossible for someone to break through secretly. Although it took a long time to deduce, he finally knew the answer. No, that's not right. There's a way. The power of merit can directly raise a body integration stage cultivator to the tribulation transcendent stage without needing a heavenly tribulation. If the suspect falls into this category, then the heavenly tribulation is a test for cultivators, and the power of merit is a reward for cultivators. Both of these can reduce risks. Ji Kong delivered more bad news. Also, I saw the future. This place turns into a void. Suddenly, a crack that looked like a bolt of purple-black lightning appeared behind the little girl. Jiangli also noticed something was wrong and rushed over. This is bad. The previous crack quickly expanded into a huge hole. He stretched out his hand to grab Ji Kong, who was being sucked into the hole. The little girl closed her eyes tightly and settled in Jiangli's arms. Besides the two of them, everyone else was affected and shattered into small pieces. Jiangli continued to hold Ji Kong while floating. The secret realm has been torn apart. Jiangli continued to hold Ji Kong while floating. The speed at which the secret realm was cracking was too fast. There was no time to save the others. But there was one other thing that remained intact, the statue of the divine venerable, completely undamaged in the violent wind. Around the two of them, fragments flew about. A secret realm is similar to a small world, extremely sturdy. To destroy a secret realm in an instant, even a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator couldn't do it. Zhongli thought to himself, unless the opponent has been plotting for a long time and has made many preparations. He said to Ji Kong, who was resting in his arms, Kong, I'm taking you back to the 9 provinces now. Be patient, the speed will be a bit slow. Okay, looking at the secret realm, which was now just a chaotic green void, one could say this was a conspiracy aimed at me. If it were just me, I could probably return easily, but I also have to protect Ji Kong in the chaotic violent wind. This has slowed down my speed. He calculated his next steps. The opponent has calculated this perfectly. I have to ask the Ji family for help. Ji or Ji Kong, there's no difference between them. Both need my protection in the void. The enemy's vicious plot made him grit his teeth. The opponent isn't aiming to kill me, just to delay my return to the 9 provinces. The scene changes from the chaotic area to a place with houses and doors. Yu-In was sitting gracefully at a table. Denounce Yu-In proclamation. What an interesting piece of literature. Minister Zhao, you even issued an order on my behalf, summoning all the officials to the Hall of Central Harmony for a court session. Her words were full of sarcasm. Really, you've gone to too much trouble for me. Minister Zhao's face was impassive as he reported, Your Majesty, please look at this proclamation directly. This is the Denounce Yu-In proclamation that people all over the dynasty have posted themselves, saying they hope the Tian Yuan Empress will follow the will of the people and hand over the throne to the imperial family. But Yu-In just sneered. The imperial family. Why not just say it's prince and of the former imperial family? Minister Zhao's group all spoke in unison with their leader. We ask the Tian Yuan Empress to follow the will of the people and hand over the throne to the imperial family. We ask the Tian Yuan Empress to follow the will of the people and hand over the throne to the imperial family. The civil and military officials also had their own calculations. If the Empress can overcome this rebellion, after her wounds heal, she will only become stronger. It doesn't matter who rules Tian Yuan. I'll follow whoever is the strongest. Sun Yuan pointed directly at Minister Zhao and questioned him. The former imperial family was weak and incompetent, hesitant and indecisive. Minister Zhao, you want to let that kind of person be emperor? Minister Sun Yuan, it's not what I want, but what the people want. The empress is cruel and inhumane. It is only right that Prince N, who combines both gentleness and strength, should inherit the throne. These words only made Yu-In laugh even more. Follow the will will of the people. You do not represent the will of the people. I don't care about the will of the people either. The Tian Yuan dynasty has been in the 9 provinces for tens of thousands of years. The strongest has always been the one to decide. Since when do we listen to the will of the people? Prince Sin, dressed in armor, stepped forward. Beloved Minister Zhao, I told you, the Empress won't fall for this trick. It's better to just fight directly. Princeton is right. Seeing the armored man, Yin wondered. Princeton, you're not qualified. Who else has come? A mere body integration stage. What a waste of my time. Hearing her words, Princeton waved his hand. Since the Empress is so inclined, how dare I not comply? 5 more people appeared before her. General Shenwei pays his respects to the Tian Yuan Empress. King Xiongqi of the Great by Dynasty pays his respects to the Tian Yuan Empress. The cult master of the Chongkong cult pays his respects to the Tian Yuan Empress. The Grand Elder of the Five Thunders Orthodox sect pays his respects to the Tian Yuan Empress. The Lake Lord of Yunmeng Marsh pays his respects to the Tian Yuan Empress. A look of interest appeared on Yu Yin's face. This is more like it. A storm began to brew in the skies of the Tian Yuan dynasty. An old woman looked at the soldiers stationed outside and sighed. I don't know how long this war will last. May heaven protect us. Let it end quickly. Her little grandchild was still playing with a Yuan doll. The Empress is so amazing. She will definitely win quickly. The people in the court were fleeing in disarray. Under the enhancement of a national fate, the Empress could instantly reach the tribulation transcendent stage. Prince inside has also been plotting for a long time. In the end, it will likely turn into a battle between tribulation transcendent stage cultivators. Let's go. Let's go. I don't want to risk my life to participate in this battle. There were not even 10 living beings left in the Great Hall. If it weren't for Zhongli being here, we wouldn't be able to rely on our numbers to look down on Yuan. The one before us is the true human. Emperor. Yu Yin's majestic figure was surrounded by red energy. Right now, she was cloaked in the national fate. The power of the tribulation transcendent stage cannot be underestimated. In a corner, Minister Zhao and Sun Yuan were also clashing. Princeton was devising a plan. The Empress's main forces have left. Sun Yuan advised with a smile, "Don't struggle in vain. Your eyes are so blind. Why don't I just gouge them out and pickle them in wine?" The entire structure of the imperial palace trembled due to the commotion. 2 palm strikes were aimed at Yuan. Take my punch, enter my illusionary realm, and enjoy the sufferings of life. But both shattered upon hitting her shield. The scene made King Xiongqi and the Lake Lord break out in a sweat. Our great divine abilities didn't even touch Yuan, and they've already vanished. This is myriad dermas do not touch the body. Seeing this, the Grand Elder made his move. The Rui Gourd is not here. My Five Thunders Orthodox sect is the spokesperson for the heavenly tribulation. The magnificent bolts of lightning were not enough to scare Yuan. Myriad dermas do not touch the body easily deflected the Five Thunders Orthodox law. Yellow lines gradually appeared under Yu Yin's feet. Brainless brute, you dare to equate a fake lightning tribulation with the Rui Gourd. The golden streaks radiated from her feet and formed a chessboard that enveloped everyone. Yuan magically placed a game piece. I'm not in the mood to warm up with you all. Its weight was like a 1,000-ton rock, crushing the enemies below the chessboard. Seeing this scene, Sun Yuan was overjoyed. Just now, the Empress not only stripped these people of their ability to fly, but also froze all the spiritual energy in this space. Except for her and me, no one can absorb it. Only those who were crushed were struggling. I didn't expect Yuan to use the National Fate Tian Yuan placement move. This entire space has become her domain. Such powerful ability. The claim that she was injured and recuperating during the court session was all a lie. Seeing the move, Princeton recalled, the national fate of the Tian Yuan dynasty is originally a go board. The entire dynasty is a game board. The cultivators in the country are the game pieces. The process of cultivators slaughtering each other is the process of game pieces devouring each other. The more fiercely the game pieces devour each other, the stronger the national fate. In his mind, an image of a shattered game board appeared. It's not good for the game pieces to devour too much either. It will cause the nation to fall into chaos and collapse. The nation can no longer be maintained. The game board that relies on the dynasty as its foundation also cannot continue. The principle of controlling the national fate is that the throne is at the center of the go board, also called the Tian Yuan position. When a game piece falls on the Tianyuan position. A space controlled by the master of the dynasty is formed around it. That is the Tianyuan situation. Prince grew anxious as he saw Yu Yin gradually descend. If we don't win quickly, my former imperial faction will face depleted spiritual energy and a disastrous defeat. At that moment, a purple light erupted from General Shenwei's body. It's all right, you still have me, General Shenwei, and my million-strong army at my command. The aura on this General Shenwei raised his power to the level of tribulation. Prince saw this and had a sudden realization. That's right, it's the soldiers arrayed in the imperial city. Their will to fight is surging, treating Yu Yin in the imperial palace as the enemy. Their chi has coalesced into patches. Their spiritual platforms are connected, converging upon General Shenwei. His current strength has even surpassed Yu Yin's. The power of Shenwei made him immensely pleased. Although he didn't know who killed Xiao Wu, it was fortunate that General Shenwei was here to fill Xiao Wu's position. She was just a woman who didn't even dare to contend for the position of human emperor and had retreated. What was there to be afraid of? Yu Yin looked at the crowd of opponents and said softly just one word: kill. Then she rushed forward to attack Prince An's group of the old imperial faction. Prince An struggled to block a palm strike from Yu Yin. So strong, why? Does the rebelling army not affect Yu Yin? She isn't injured, and moreover, she is still in the tribulation transcendent stage. The army is a crucial part of the imperial dynasty. With the army in rebellion, the game board will lose a large piece. The Tianyuan formation will collapse on its own without being attacked. Fortunately for him, Shenwei rushed forward and shattered this palm strike. This is great. General Shenwei's attack has suppressed her. He has trained for many years in the military, coupled with the power of Shinzong. He has the complete upper hand. The two continued to fight like cats and dogs, making Yu Yin a little anxious. The nation's fate is damaged, and the thing affected is not just the game board, but also myself. My tribulation transcendent stage is not as stable as General Shenwei's. Shenwei's strength made her wonder. General Shenwei used the army to break through to the tribulation transcendent stage. He should be weaker than me, but why did he suddenly change and become so strong? Wanting to end it quickly, she increased her power. Fine, I'll do my best anyway. Behind Shenwei, Prince An was still watching the battle closely. Once one reaches the tribulation transcendent stage, it's hard for the myriad techniques to cause harm. I'll have to use other means. At the same time, heavenly lightning began to condense around Taishang. Although the Five Thunders' true law is called a law, it is closer to the Tao, not within the scope of the myriad techniques that cannot touch the body. Previously, it was Yu Yin who acted to resolve the lightning tribulation. This is clear proof. The girl with her hair, standing on end on the other side, was also preparing to make a move. This is the Xuanzhong water I painstakingly refined, each drop weighing 10,000 caddies. But both of these ultimate skills were successfully blocked by Yu Yin. Prince An then chanted an incantation for a divine ability. My Shi Liang Tian can detect the opponent's weaknesses, fighting by targeting weaknesses, but I'm only at the integration stage. I cannot accurately measure Yu Yin's weaknesses. I can only make a rough estimate. Besides, I only specialize in magic, which has no effect on Yu Yin. Only the magic of someone who is also in the tribulation transcendent stage can affect another tribulation transcendent stage cultivator. He smirked. Although I can't directly attack Yu Yin, I can tell General Shenwei about Yu Yin's weaknesses. Through Shi Liang Tian, he coached Shenwei. Among the 5 major acupoints of Bai Wei, Kong Tian, Qianding, Shu Guang, and Shangxing, there is one spot she has not cultivated to perfection. Very good. Shenwei thus gradually gained the upper hand. When she mobilizes her spiritual power, at the moment of a heavenly cycle's turn, there will be a moment of stagnation. There is a gap in one of the 6 viscera and a spot on the spiritual platform. Having to defend so arduously, a drop of sweat appeared on Yu Yin's forehead. Being attacked with such purpose is too troublesome. Moreover, my realm is fluctuating unstably. It's very difficult for the nation's fate to continue maintaining me at the tribulation stage. Behind her, Sun Yuan was busy dealing with the two newcomers. Sun Yuan, get lost. Don't you dare get near Her Majesty the Empress. He was beaten until he coughed up blood. You alone want to stop the two of us. After dealing with Sun Yuan, the two of them aimed for Yu Yin's back and struck. The battle is about to end. If we don't join the real fight now, when the time comes to discuss merits and rewards, we won't have a share. Your Majesty, be careful, because she had to fend off the old imperial faction. Yu Yin couldn't dodge these two moves in time. Seeing her opening made Prince and overjoyed. Excellent. She has fallen from the peak of the initial integration stage, no longer able to return to the tribulation transcendence stage. He did not miss the opportunity to use Shi Liangtian. General Shenwei, you must strike Yu Yin's weakest point, shatter her gate of life. Shenwei quickly struck Yu Yin's abdomen. This one move made her spit out a stream of fresh blood. The blood just kept flowing out endlessly. So this is what it feels like to be hanging by a thread. Yu Yin then remembered. A long time ago, I touched a barrier, but the nation's fate always held me back, preventing me from advancing. The voices continued to be uttered ceaselessly around her. Your Majesty, hang in there. Yu Yin, you have this day too. If you had obediently abdicated back then, you wouldn't have had to die so tragically today. But Yu Yin's heart only seemed to grow calmer. The noisy sounds gradually distanced themselves from me. It's so quiet. Now, the barrier that has separated me for so long. Now it seems it would shatter with just one punch. Even a nation's fate cannot stop it. Her body gradually transformed. I feel myself becoming one with the spiritual platform, with heaven and earth. So this is the real tribulation transcendence. Everything became clear. I roughly understand the meaning of the tribulation transcendence stage. It's no wonder no one mentions how to pass the tribulation transcendence stage, because once it is spoken, one can never pass the tribulation transcendence stage. Yu Yin gently extended her hand to catch the flowing blood. That's why it's called the tribulation transcendence stage. It's because one needs to transcend a tribulation. This tribulation must be a fatal one with no chance of survival. One can only find life through death. The blood on her hand vanished as if into nothingness. If a cultivator at the integration stage knew the true meaning of the tribulation transcendence stage, they would deliberately create a fatal tribulation. Even if they used all sorts of clever means to overcome the fatal tribulation, they still couldn't pass the tribulation transcendence stage. Yu Yin smiled victoriously. I used death to suppress myself, try to stimulate my potential to overcome the tribulation transcendence stage. Although the starting point was wrong, it unintentionally led to the correct process. A halo erupted around her. To overcome the tribulation transcendence stage, one also needs to use the heart to prove the Tao, to prove one's path. This is not difficult for me at all. The previous wounds seem to have completely disappeared. It's funny to say, fighting celestial demons from beyond the realm is the time when a tribulation cultivator is most likely to fall, and at the same time, it's also when an integration stage cultivator has the highest chance of breaking through to the tribulation transcendence stage. Seeing Yu Yin's transformation made Prince An's anxiety grow. What's happening? Yu Yin's weaknesses are rapidly decreasing. The last point is also gone. As if in an instant, she has become a perfect, flawless person. He panicked even more. There's only one type of flawless cultivator. Surely not. It can't be. How could she do it? The dark sky began to show streaks of dazzling red. Lightning. In search of Yu Yin, they tore through the swirling dark clouds and struck straight down at the imperial dynasty. Taishang was astonished by the scene and exclaimed, "It's a heavenly tribulation." Sun Yuan also realized an unparalleled expert is about to be born. The lightning tribulation even stirred the place of dense white clouds, the wind gently blowing the hem of Bai Hengtu's robe. He couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. After waiting for so long, you have finally reached the same realm as me. In the worldly paradise, Hong Chun also looked up at the sky. The outside world seems very interesting, but I'm very timid. I don't dare to go out. What should I do? The pile of heavenly tribulations rushed towards where Yu Yin was. Her body was as if enveloped in a ball of lightning. Because of them, The firelight from the heavenly tribulation illuminated a whole patch of sky. After a while, the heavenly lightning also gradually dissipated. Yu-in successfully said, "Very good, I have officially entered the tribulation transcendent stage." Seeing Yu-in so high and mighty frightened the old imperial faction. The current Yu-in is very beautiful and also very terrifying. How terrifying a tribulation stage monarch is, no one can imagine. Among the 9 great imperial dynasties, only Yu-in has currently reached the tribulation stage. Prince An wisely recognized the current situation. Now, she will not let us go run, but how many would ever be willing to forgive a traitor? Yu-in was seen unleashing a divine ability that caused those below to be imprisoned. Seeing her level up satisfied Yu-in, spatial imprisonment. It's no wonder it's the move that guy Gyani uses most often. The feeling of using this move is really not bad. On the other side, probably only Shinwei can still escape, but although I'm not imprisoned and can run, the army cannot run. Without the army, I am just an integration stage cultivator. I will not be able to escape from Yu-in, who possesses the Tianyuan formation. Caught in a dilemma, he made up his mind. It has to work, even if it doesn't. I can only fight to the end. But the nation's fate, still on Yu-yin's side, suddenly underwent a change. Above her head, 100 swords with their tips pointing to the ground appeared. Following the guidance from her hand, they began to move. The sharp, cold blades pierced through and shattered the body of Shinwei. His death caused the will of thousands of soldiers to pour back into the game board. Seeing that the most important matter was done, Yu-in smiled. Very good. Once General Shinwei is dead, the army will have no one to command it. The game board created by the nation's fate will return to a complete state. Of course, she also did not forget to tightly bind the remaining rebellious elements. She let them float high in the sky. The Empress reigns over the world. Traitors cannot live. She wants to execute this group of people before the eyes of the public. Sun Yuan's status also changed thanks to her victory. As for Minister Sun Yuan, his merit in assisting the ruler is great. From now on, he will be under 1 person and above 10,000. Prince An knew his end had come and thought, not using the emperor's mind arts, not using solitary ministers, not forming cliques, only having a few confidants. Yu-in is different from the previous Tianyuan emperors. She is more like the human emperor. The human emperor only pursues strength, never caring about power factions. He cried in helplessness. The previous generations of Tianyuan emperors knew they were hopeless in reaching the tribulation stage, so they used all means to win over the court officials, trying to maintain the emperor's majesty. I imitated my ancestors by forming cliques, thinking the court was on my side. Gazing at the human emperor right in front of him, radiating a brilliant aura, Prince An could only smile bitterly. In the face of absolute power, my petty schemes are nothing but mediocre and inferior things. A myriad of swords thus pierced through him and his accomplices without a trace of mercy. After handling matters, Yu-in began to bestow rewards. Sun Yuan, your loyalty is very commendable. But the smile on Sun Yuan's face changed. Strangely, a huge, dazzling red formation suddenly appeared in the sky, enveloping the imperial dynasty. Yu-in recognized this formation and cried out inwardly, "Spirit-severing array. This is a great killing array that the demonic path uses to slaughter a city, a country." She hurriedly turned her head towards the mastermind. Logically, for the imperial dynasty to have this great array, it would be easily discovered, but the spirit-severing array was in a space parallel to the imperial dynasty. Now, that space has merged into the 9 provinces, and the spirit-severing array has appeared in the imperial dynasty along with it. Golden chains she manifested quickly bound Sun Yuan. Activating the spirit-severing array also takes a moment. As long as he is imprisoned, there is still a way to save the situation. Sun Yuan, you deserve to die. But he just moved a little and was able to shatter the chains. That scene made Yu-in grit her teeth. He escaped the imprisonment so easily. He is also in the tribulation transcendent stage. She questioned him. How could you silently break through to the tribulation transcendent stage? When I broke through to the tribulation transcendent stage, the entire 9 provinces sensed it. This is very normal, but what about Sun Yuan? How could he hide his breakthrough to the tribulation transcendent stage? In response, he only said succinctly before the power of Shenzong, "Nothing is impossible, spirit-severing array, activate." As the words were spoken, the spirit-severing array stained the entire city red. The adorable baby hugging the Yu'in doll found it strange and stood, watching. But under the brutality of the formation, no matter how adorable, its head exploded. A prosperous nation quickly became a blood-soaked place. That brutal scene was all according to Sun Yuan's arrangement. Above were the integration stage, vice, pavilion masters of the heavenly slaughter pavilion. Below were the chi refinement stage commoners. Before the spirit-severing array that I have prepared for decades. They all have no power to resist. They will die in an instant. He laughed loudly. The 8 million people in the imperial city, the 1 million soldiers, a total of 9 million lives will all disappear. A golden light that Zhang Li had once wondered about began to appear on his hands. The disciples can only kill 1,000 people. This is a rule I established in the name of the Shenzong Venerable. I was worried someone would, through killing, obtain a cultivation level higher than mine. I myself will not abide by this rule. That strange golden light rose higher and higher as it absorbed the dead. Once 9 million people are dead, the power of merit will fill my body. I will be just one step away from ascension. Facing a nation in peril, how could Yu'in hold back, die? But Sun Yuan's vicious tricks also left her heavily injured, because for thousands of generations, the monarch and the country, though two, are as one. The country disappears, the army is gone. I am connected to the nation's fate. If the nation's fate is damaged, I will also be heavily injured. Sun Yuan advanced on the weakened Yu'in. The empress of the Tianyuan imperial dynasty reveres the strong. Abdicate. Even if Yu'in is exceptionally talented, in a situation where she has just entered the tribulation transcendent stage and is not yet stable, and is heavily injured, she cannot defeat a tribulation transcendent stage cultivator who is about to ascend. He gloated, I have calculated everything perfectly. Human Emperor Jiang, who is supposed to be protecting Yu'in, is not here, and the others who could stop me won't arrive in time. Knowing he was at the final step of his plan, a purple chi gathered in his hand. As long as I defeat Yu'in and become the new Tianyuan Emperor, I can use the nation's fate game board to supplement the spirit-severing array to cover the entire nation. At that time, the power of Shenzong will be enough to bring me to a realm on par with human Emperor Jiang. Just thinking about it made his smiling mouth widen even more. I will be able to become the second Mahayana stage cultivator. Farewell, Empress. Fortunately, Sun Yuan's wrist was suddenly grabbed by someone. That person was Zhang Li, who had just flown back at top speed. Sun Yuan saw Zhang Li and was horrified. What? Why are you here? As he asked, sweat poured down his face like a stream. He should be protecting the people of the Ji family in the void. Why is he here? Why did he come back so quickly? Where are the people of the Ji family? Human Emperor Jiang couldn't protect them. Did they die in a void? I haven't become a Mahayana stage cultivator yet. Jiang Li looked at him with a cold expression, spirit-severing array, not a demonic path technique, although Sun Yuan is not a person of the demonic path. He gripped his two arms and pulled, but he is more hateful than the people of the demonic path, Pain. Sun Yuan's arms were torn off under his anger. A tribulation stage cultivator can regenerate from a drop of blood. An injury of this level is not fatal to me. The difference in strength was too great, so he could only let himself be tortured by him. But I would rather suffer a fatal wound. The enraged human Emperor Jiang is not letting me die quickly. The desire to live made Sun Yuan accept abandoning his legs. I can only cut off my tail to survive. Running now is the best option. He had to use fake limbs for now, then I will restore my body. Thinking of the long road ahead made Sun Yuan more miserable. I killed the people of a city to help myself reach the peak of the tribulation stage, and I still have to kill the people of a country to become a Mahayana stage cultivator. The gap between the tribulation stage and the Mahayana stage truly makes me despair. Jiang Li turned to take care of Yu'in. Here, eat this great recovery pill. The surrounding devastation made him angrily blame himself. Not only is Yu'in about to die, but 9 million people have died without a trace. Jiang Li gritted his teeth. 9 million people, and attacked by the celestial demons from beyond the realm on the 9 provinces, is only this much. This is the negligence of me as the human emperor. I have failed the human emperors of all generations. This failure is too humiliating. What face do I have to call myself the strongest human emperor? What face will I have after this? The heavens rained, as if understanding the sorrow of the world. The rain was so heavy that large puddles appeared on the ground. The Yuen doll lay still, no longer held by anyone. Jiangli gently reached for the doll. This belonged to some little girl, right? A 5 or 6-year-old girl. An adorable age that makes people pity her. Raindrops flowed down the doll's eyes as if crying. 9 million lives. The rain also drenched Jiangli. 9 million graves of personal belongings. Yuen hurriedly reminded him, "Don't let Sun Yuan escape." Jiang Li's reply was full of hatred. Escape? In the face of a heavenly tribulation, where can he run? Just as he said, lightning flashed in the sky. Its scale couldn't help but astonish Yuen. This is the most terrifying heavenly tribulation I have ever seen. I have only seen Jiangli pass through it. This is the immortal ascension tribulation. The Rui gourd saw her and hurriedly flew over. "Master, are you all right? That person almost killed Master. I want to kill him." From the mouth of the Rui gourd, a figure began to emerge. That figure was Ji Kong. "Aunt Yuen, are you all right?" The little girl compassionately touched Yu Yin's face. The human emperor's little princess turned into a small white fish and entered me. I am an immortal artifact, not afraid of the chaotic currents of the void, so we could quickly return without any reservations. But unexpectedly, we were still a step too late. Seeing that the reunion was over, Jiang Li flew away. "I'll be back in a moment." He flew to where the heavenly tribulation was still operating at full capacity. Sun Yuan was trapped in that lightning storm without finding a way out. He could only endure it. Wherever I run, the immortal ascension tribulation pursues me. All the tricks of the tribulation transcendent stage cannot be used in front of the immortal ascension tribulation. They're all useless. This is a test I can only endure. Jiang Li had already blocked him from behind. "Sun Yuan, are you prepared to die?" His appearance made Sun Yuan even more uncomfortable. With 2 people under the immortal ascension tribulation, the power is also doubled. My vital energy is severely damaged. Seeing his life was about to end, he hurriedly begged, No, I don't want to die. I know many things. I can tell you how to obtain the power of Shinzong, how to become strong. You'll be much stronger. Perhaps you don't know what the power of Shinzong is. You see, I use the power of Shenzong from the peak of the integration stage to the peak of the tribulation stage. With this power, we no longer have to fear the celestial demons from beyond the realm. As long as you can spare my life, I will tell you how to obtain the power of Shinzong. These words only made Jiang Li's face darken. "You think you understand me well?" Sun Yuan hurriedly flattered him. Of course I understand you. You are the just and incorruptible human emperor, the guardian deity of the 9 provinces. You are. But Jiang Li just shook his head slightly. "It's not you. Sun Yuan doesn't understand me at all. It's not the one who plotted against me. He secretly speculated. Only someone who understands me extremely well could have plotted against me with such precision." Thinking of that person made him even more disappointed. Although I don't want to believe it, unexpectedly, it's that person. But to be sure, he still interrogated Sun Yuan. "What is your position in the Shinzong cult?" "Vice sect master. Both General Shinwei and I are vice sect masters. But he doesn't know me while I know him." Jiang Li knows about the Shinzong cult. "It's over. My usefulness has been greatly reduced." He then found a target to blame. "It's the sect master. That's right. It's all the sect master's fault. He was the one who said you were protecting the people of the G family and couldn't pay attention to this place, telling me to act with confidence." No. My conscience is not at ease. Not at ease at all. It was all the sect master who forced me to do this." Hearing the 2 words, sect master, Jiang Li asked immediately, "Who is the sect master?" "I don't know. The sect master has never revealed his true identity." "What is the Shenzong Venerable?" "I don't know. It was the sect master who said there is a Shenzong Venerable." Seeing that he couldn't get any more information, he held his sword in his hand. I have asked all the questions I wanted to ask. Next, his sword technique gently slashed multiple lines on Sun Yuan's body. The progression of his sword strokes made him writhe. "Is this the legendary heart sword? It hurts so much. My skin is still intact, but inside, I am covered in injuries. But the regeneration from a drop of blood characteristic of the tribulation transcendent stage helps me constantly recover." The Rui gourd also came to add fuel to the fire. "Let me help. Heart demon tribulation. Help. Tribulation. Samsara tribulation. 8 sufferings tribulation. You can have whatever you want. These heavenly tribulations do not affect the body. They only target the spirit. Slowly feel these pains." It acted mercilessly. How does the samsara tribulation taste? Making you constantly relive the lives of the 900,000 people of the imperial dynasty, constantly dying, constantly being reborn. Having to live and die through so many lives he had taken drove Sun Yuan insane. I'm going crazy. I beg you, please just kill me. Jiangli used his final move. No, don't extract my soul. To his plea, he only said, extracting your soul and refining it to ash is letting you off easy. The rain had not let up and was still pouring down on the desolate city. Jiangli threw Sun Yuan to the ground next to where Yuan was sitting. He told her, this corpse is yours to deal with. Refining it into a puppet is fine. Directly venting your anger is also fine. For someone like Sun Yuan, he had no pity. It's not important. Yuan looked up at Jiangli. I exhausted all my efforts, risked my life, and finally broke through to the tribulation stage. Yet, Jiangli could simply kill 3 peak tribulation stage cultivators, and the opponents had no power to resist at all. Seeing his extraordinary strength, she secretly asked, the Mahayana stage, is it really that strong? Yuan lowered her head. Now that I am blessed by the nation's fate, holding an immortal artifact in my hand, how many moves can I exchange with Jiangli? 5 moves? 8 moves? In any case, it's impossible to exchange 10 moves with. Jiangli, seeing her own weakness, broke her heart. Such a huge gap. My strength is still so far behind. That's why I couldn't save my 9 million subjects just now. Temporarily bidding farewell to Yuan, Jiangli took Ji Kong back to her home. Worried about Ji Kong, Ji was already standing in front of the house waiting for the two of them. Seeing Jiang Li's strange expression, he was surprised. Since Jiang Li became the human emperor, I have never seen such a gloomy and unsightly expression on his face. He clearly looks calm on the surface. He secretly assessed, but behind that calmness is a heaven-shattering, rock-breaking anger. Ji watched Jiang Li leave. The 9 provinces, the heavens are about to change. Jiang Li began his next journey. The Buddhist sect is located in the far west of the 9 provinces. The Buddhist law permeates all space. Even the land emits a gentle light. Under the protection of the Buddha, next to the Buddhist sect is a nation named Leshan Kingdom. Although its level is not equal to the 9 great imperial dynasties, it is also extremely powerful. Perhaps the reason is its proximity to the Buddhist sect. The people here, though poor, are content. The skinny, bony old folks have many children and grandchildren, enjoying the full joy of family. Regarding faith here, the Leshan Kingdom is like a vassal state of the Buddhist sect. The whole country worships the Buddha's name, and every household worships a Buddha statue. They firmly believe that good and evil have their retribution. Suffering in this life is retribution for the previous life. Doing good deeds in this life will lead to a peaceful death in the next. Just as the Tianyuan nation has the nation's fate as a game board, it is rumored that under the Leshan Kingdom, there's a swastika character buried in the ground. It is the national treasure of the Leshan Kingdom. Some people have believed in this legend, but despite digging very deep, they have found nothing. Before Jiang Li was a mountain shrouded in layers of clouds. This was Mount Sumeru. Every day, high-ranking monks would hold sermons on the mountain, expounding on the profound principles of Buddhism. Whenever a sermon was held, anyone could come and listen. The Lactean nation was at the foot of the mountain. At the foot of Mount Sumeru, many monks had already gathered to pray. Jiang Li flew over their heads and landed near the stone-paved path. Sensing someone's presence, the seemingly inanimate stones and gravel began to stir amidst a brilliant golden light. They automatically formed 1,000 golden steps for Jiang Li to ascend. Seeing him diligently exercising made the bald monks astonished. Does human Emperor Jiang wish to ascend Mount Sumeru? He wasn't using any magical power, climbing Mount Sumeru step by step. But such surprise was normal because the steps of Mount Sumeru were very special. If one used magical power, they could ascend easily. If one didn't want to use magical power, they could only rely on their physical body. Each time one stepped up 2 steps, it was like carrying 2 great mountains. Accumulating this, by the time one finished the 100,000 steps, it would be equivalent to carrying 100,000 great mountains. Then why suffer by walking? It was all because of a legend that this was a test left by the Buddha. If one used their physical body, to climb all 100,000 steps, they would be able to meet the true Buddha. Some Buddhist followers had tried, but no one had ever surpassed 3,000 steps. Gyani just kept walking. I never believed in this legend before, but today I want to give it a try. He walked while counting silently. 2998, 2999, 3,000. There was no resistance whatsoever. Following his every step were still the two old monks that, if I'm not mistaken, that's human Emperor Jiang. He's already climbed more than 20,000 steps, but he still doesn't seem to be struggling at all. The monks, nuns, and Buddhist disciples wondered, what is human Emperor Jiang trying to do? Could it be that he has something on his mind and wants to seek the true Buddha for answers? Originally, the true Buddha and the ascension of the 9 provinces immortals were unrelated. A true Buddha is said to be an enlightened one. This type of person, besides opening their acupoints of consciousness, also opens the 7th consciousness, the manas vijnana, and the 8th consciousness, the alaya vijnana, constantly turning towards their indestructible, diamond-like nature, forever manifesting their pure, original, and true self-nature. As of now, the current true Buddha, or old Buddha Sumeru, with a lifespan of 9,800 years, has become the most ancient existence in the tribulation transcendent stage. His Tao of space is renowned throughout the 9 provinces, second to none. In the battle against the heavenly demons, he had lent his aid many times. But this old man still has a successor. The future true Buddha is Buddha's child Wuji, whose wisdom roots are so profound that even old Buddha Sumeru feels inferior. All that long-winded talk was enough time for Gyani to walk quite a bit, 100,000 steps. His figure looked a little lonely. I have relied on the pure strength of my physical body to climb Mount Sumu, accomplishing an unprecedented miracle. But the legend is false. After climbing all 100,000 steps, he stood alone between heaven and earth, without meeting the true Buddha. The old Buddha's sermon echoed. Furthermore, Subhuti, if a good man or good woman accepts, upholds, reads, and recites this sutra, and if they are despised by others, it is because their past sinful karma should have led them to the evil paths. Because they are despised in this life, their past sinful karma will be eradicated, and they will attain Anattara Samyaksabodhi. But he stopped abruptly. What's wrong? He suddenly stopped. I was just gaining some insight. He turned to Jiang and asked, Greetings, Benefactor Jiang. What brings you here? He drew closer and closer. Why does he look like he's about to cry? In response came another question. Old Buddha, tell me, how did you become an immortal? A look of sorrow appeared on Jiang Li's face. I have climbed to the summit of Mount Sumeru, but I did not see a true Buddha, only a Buddha who is also an immortal. From ancient times to the present, becoming an immortal is divided into 3 steps. Cultivating to the peak of the tribulation transcendent stage, overcoming the immortal ascension tribulation, and transforming spiritual energy into immortal power. The immortal ascension tribulation cannot be passed quietly. One cannot just transcend the tribulation inside a secret realm. The status of a secret realm is not high enough. An immortal ascension tribulation will not descend there. Besides that, immortal power is definitely formed by processing spiritual energy. But how exactly it is processed, no one knows. This is the foundation upon which the immortal realm is built. Even the longevity immortal would not know. Jiang stood straight before the old Buddha, who was still sitting under the shade of a tree. He uttered the question, Old Buddha, tell me, how did you become an immortal? Looking at the plump old Buddha before him, he couldn't help but wonder. The tribulation transcendent stage has a lifespan of 10,000 years. Old Buddha, Sumeru, should be in a state of gradual aging. But now he was gathering Buddhist light, his body was vigorous, exuding vitality, as if he still had a lot of lifespan left. I have read many descriptions of immortals in ancient books, and I have also met 2 true immortals like the longevity immortal and the red dust fairy. I can tell that old Buddha Sumeru has already become a true immortal. Jiang Li's eyes held a hint of suspicion. An immortal who achieved immortality in the 9 provinces, but has not gone to the immortal realm. But even if I didn't see old Buddha Sumeru become an immortal with my own eyes, I was about 80% certain. The answer came to him. The mastermind behind it all is old Buddha Sumeru. He mentally reviewed the recent events. First, I encountered a follower of the Divine Treasury sect, that old man at the spirit transformation stage. The mastermind, seeing the situation was unstable, went to the Tianyuan Imperial Dynasty to kill General Sha Wu. To be able to be near me and see everything without being detected by me proves that this mastermind is proficient in the Tao of space. There was also Ji Kong's testimony. Ji Kong once said the mastermind suddenly appeared behind General Sha Wu and killed the integration stage Sha Wu in one move. This proves that the mastermind is either at the peak of the integration stage or at the tribulation transcendence stage. Jiangli continued to recall. After that, the mastermind lured me into bringing Kong Kong to the Divine Treasury sect's secret realm. Then, they caused the secret realm to collapse. The calculation was too precise. Only someone who knows me well could make such an accurate judgment. It's just that old people tend to know a lot. Old Buddha Sumeru is the second most ancient person in the 9 provinces. I have also come to consult him on all sorts of matters. He remembered the long and bewildering sutra and the tricks of the Divine Treasury sect. The method of proselytizing was too proficient, proving the mastermind knew the tricks of spreading a religion all too well. Then there was the battle in the Tianyuan nation. I met Sun Yuan and heard Ian talk about the battle with General Shenwei. Neither of them ever used spatial techniques, proving they were not proficient in the Tao of space. How could the space with that spirit-severing formation run parallel to the world of the 9 provinces so perfectly? His face increasingly held a murderous aura, but these countless events could still be explained by someone I don't know. An almighty being at the tribulation transcendence stage proficient in the Tao of space, or an outer-worldly heavenly demon that has infiltrated the 9 provinces. Therefore, before coming here, I thought there was only about an 80% chance it was the old Buddha. Looking at the old Buddha sitting cross-legged, he silently affirmed, "Now that I see the old Buddha has become an immortal, this 80% chance has become 100%. As for the power of merit, I once saw at the second ritual of the Divine Treasury sect, 2 priests personally captured and killed a spirit transformation stage cultivator. They shared the merit equally. And he asked himself, at that time, I thought, if you assist in killing someone, can you receive merit? Or from another perspective, every time a follower kills someone, does the sect master who founded the Divine Treasury sect receive merit? That hypothesis was gradually proven. At that time, I was only speculating, but when I met Sun Yuan and then met old Buddha Sumeru, everything became clear. The sect master can share the merit of the followers, and the followers might only get a small portion, with the majority going to the sect master. This means all that merit flowed to the old Buddha. The power of merit can turn decay into wonder. It can also transform spiritual energy into immortal power in a completely absurd way. Hearing these words, the old Buddha naturally denied it. Benefactor Jiang must be joking. Acting on behalf of heaven, doing good deeds, and accumulating virtue, one can naturally become an immortal. Wuji didn't know what to do and could only watch the two argue. Jiangli began to gather his energy. I know the old Buddha has fought against the heavenly demons many times with glorious achievements and has indeed done many good deeds. I just don't know if doing these things brings merit. Seeing the 2 powerhouses about to fight, everyone started to flee. What on earth happened? Since when did the old Buddha become an immortal? Why is the human emperor so angry? I don't know, but given the current situation, it's better for us to stay away. The old Buddha remained stubborn, killing countless people, boundless merit. Benefactor, why ask what you already know? You are also well-versed in Buddhism. Why not see if I have even a trace of karmic debt? The Buddhist sect has very strict precepts. In practicing Buddhism, the most important thing is to do good and accumulate virtue, and not to wrongly kill the innocent. Otherwise, one would be plagued by immense karmic debt, with the red lotus karmic fire burning their heart, a pain worse than death, requiring many good deeds to eliminate. That is why the previous Buddha's child accidentally killed countless people, was entangled in karmic debt, and could not atone for it in a lifetime, thus turning from a Buddha into a demon, falling into the demonic path. Jiangli frowned. But now, the streams of energy around him swirled like rolling waves. If you only live for this life, then settle the karma of these 9 million people. The old Buddha also stood up to face the challenge. Old Buddha, no one wants to die. You don't want to die, and the 9 million people of Tianyuan also didn't want to. His 2 hands began to move, so it's true. Jiangli Do you know why I didn't tell you after I learned the method to obtain the power of merit from the outer-worldly, heavenly demon? Because our ways of thinking are indeed different. A golden swastika appeared from his hand seal. The true Buddha said to sacrifice oneself to save all sentient beings. I can't do that. Only a human emperor like you can. After speaking, the old Buddha had already activated the nation protecting formation. The people of the Lac Tien nation slowly vanished because of this one formation. Even though the formation had shown a swastika, it was still constantly changing. It turned out that no matter if one was at the ends of the earth, as long as they were in the Lac Tien nation, they were in the old Buddha's hands. Gyani thought to himself, the Lac Tien nation never existed. Its people are all an illusion. However, this illusion is so real, it feels real to the touch. Things can be used no different from reality. The old Buddha struck out at him with his palm. This is an illusion that not even someone at the integration stage can see through. A great Buddhist divine ability mixing the Tao of illusion and the Tao of space. Jiang Li's entire body was in his palm. Buddhist kingdom in the palm. The old Buddha shouted, Buddhist kingdom in the palm, first form, samsara. The imperial palace, though magnificent, had already entered its twilight years. Jiang Li had grown old before he was done being young. It seems my life is not long for this world. In my life as Jiang Li, as the king of the Lac Tien nation, I wonder if I can bear the two words wise ruler. At Jiang Li's words, the king's ministers all knelt down in unison. Your Majesty, you are incorruptible. You relinquished power, setting an example for the world. You selected the wise and talented. You are loved by the people. The nation's strength grows daily, and neighboring countries all submit to you. You are the greatest wise ruler of the Lac Tien nation. Suddenly, a person ran in to report, a disciple of the Buddhist sect has found a strange prescription. As long as you kill 10,000 people, you can reverse life and death and extend your lifespan. The problem is, we're to find 10,000 people who deserve to die. But under his reign, the Lac Tien nation doesn't need to lock its doors at night. Everyone does good deeds. Even the death row prison is empty. There's no one to kill. You can kill the commoners. Just 10,000 deaths can be exchanged for a wise ruler, making our Lac Tien nation even more prosperous and powerful. After hearing this, Jiang Li just raised his hand to stop them. Once I kill 10,000 people, I will no longer be a wise ruler. His strength depleted, his arms slowly fell. That matter of the prescription, if it gets out, powerless against the limits of life. The king's ministers could only weep and mourn, announcing to the world, His Majesty has passed away. Jiang Li's glorious life as an emperor ended just like that. The man had barely closed his eyes in his grave in the previous life, and in this life, his people were already stabbing each other into porcupines. Watching the bloodshed, Jiang Li was disappointed. Just by killing one person, one can live for another 100 years. In my previous life, as the king, before my death, I clearly ordered that the prescription not be spread. An old, frail person suddenly appeared at his feet. Young man, please have mercy, let me kill you. He spoke up and asked, Old woman, why do you want to live forever? Before she could finish thinking, Jiang Li quickly listed, there are too many beautiful things in the world. Kinship, love, friendship, money, beautiful women, power. Even a lifetime is not enough to enjoy them all. Yes, then I want to enjoy those things. I want to live forever. Young man, can I kill you? He looked down at the deluded person. Where is the old woman now to even dream of enjoying those things? Hearing his words, she gradually came to her senses. Under the reign of the previous king, those good things could be seen everywhere. But under the rule of the current king, there is only death and betrayal here. The old woman was in despair. That's right, even if I live on, what can I do? Only Jiang Li's expression remained unchanged. If one can live forever by killing, then this world is in chaos. The old woman felt even more lost. Then what should be done? That's right, I don't actually like the Lac Tien nation now. Living like this is better than dying for peace of mind. In response to this question, Jiang Li began to explain, the heavenly Tao wants to throw the mortal world into chaos. Yet the upper echelons do nothing, completely helpless. He spoke words from the bottom of his heart. If I were a powerhouse, I would use autocratic power, an iron fist to rule the country. to restore order. But now, I can only speak empty words. The old woman continued to press. Then if you're facing death, would you not choose to kill to survive? You are already a supreme powerhouse, the most revered existence in the world. You wouldn't be resigned to it, right? Faced with such a dense student, Jiangli remained patient, not resigned. What was my purpose in becoming a powerhouse? She answered just as he wanted, to restore order. The two continued their conversation. Then what is it for me to kill for survival? To destroy order. Hearing this, Jiangli was satisfied. That's right, if I kill, it's not me changing the order, but the order changing me. The old woman clasped her hands in thanks. I have been enlightened. Help me with one thing. Please speak. Jiangli began to ask again. Killing can lead to eternal life. What outcome should suicide lead to? Is it life or death? I don't know. His life was immediately put to the test. I don't know either. Why not try it once? If I'm still alive after I commit suicide, then there's no need for the old woman to do anything. But if I die after committing suicide, the knife was taken by him. I only ask that the old woman tell everyone about this. The sharp blade plunged straight into his heart. The heavens want the mortal world to fight amongst itself and perish. Seeing the person before her no longer had any breath of life, the old woman shouted, "He committed suicide. He's dead, but he didn't come back to life." She shouted continuously, attracting all the people of Lac Tien. The heavens want the mortal world to fight amongst itself and perish. The heavens want the mortal world to go mad, for the mortal world to perish. A life ended. The wheel of reincarnation turned, and Jiangli entered his third life. The general's words thundered. The heavens want to annihilate the mortal world, but that doesn't mean the mortal world will sit back and wait to die. We, the resistance army, will overthrow the current king, restore order, return to the world a bright and just realm. Everyone began to prepare a feast for the army. Come, slaughter this cow for me to prepare for the farewell feast. It turned out that the cow about to be slaughtered was Jiangli. I remember now, my previous life seemed to have been human. But never mind, I'm about to be killed anyway. 3 lifetimes passed, and the swastika-imprinted palm that was imprisoning Jiangli suddenly changed. The national fate of Lac Tien was thus shattered into 100 pieces. Jiangli therefore broke free, using the royalty and nobility as the Deva path, the common people as the human path, and the cattle, goats, and sheep as the animal path. These 3 combined to form a minor samsara. Seeing he was still safe, the old Buddha gritted his teeth. I wanted to use samsara to make Jiangli lose his mind, but I failed. The plan was thus ruined. I even wanted to make Jiangli, within samsara, kill someone with his own hands, to admit that killing for eternal life is right, so that when Jiangli left samsara, he would no longer make a move against me. The old Buddha was furious, but I failed and was even taught a lesson by Jiangli. He laughed bitterly. I have cultivated the Buddhist kingdom in the palm for 9,000 years, but have never used it. I was certain that even a tribulation transcendence stage expert entering the Buddhist kingdom would lose themselves. Now that I have become an immortal, its power is even greater than before. Yet I never expected it would still be useless against you. You only went through one cycle of reincarnation and found yourself again. The second trump card was played. It's not over yet. Buddhist kingdom in the palm, second form, endless. Jiangli continued to be imprisoned in the space created by the old Buddha. He assessed the situation. I'm back in the Lac Tien nation, but this time I'm not caught in samsara, but facing the endless space of the Lac Tien nation. His feet left the ground. It also didn't take away my cultivation base, if that's the case. This time there's no one to philosophize with. He decided to use a physical palm strike to make it quick. His one punch cracked the endless cage that the old Buddha had painstakingly created. His second form was thus completely shattered. The old Buddha is in real danger this time. I don't want to face him directly. I thought he wasn't good with the Tao of space, so I used endless space to trap him, but I never expected. He played the escape card. The endless space that could trap an immortal was broken by Jiangli with an incredibly brutal method. For now, I must retreat. The speed was much faster than the first form. Unfortunately, Jiangli was already behind him. Between you and me, let's not involve the 9 provinces. Old Buddha, let's go to the void for a battle. The 2 nemeses took each other to the void to determine the victor. The old Buddha's hands were clasped together in a posture of prayer. His entire body radiated a dazzling golden light, creating a defensive technique in the shape of a blooming lotus. Jiangli thought to himself, the Buddhist sect's Vajra body cultivated to the highest level by the old Buddha's cultivation base, is indestructibly firm. Even an immortal of the same level would have to use a few tricks to break his golden body. Green energy began to gather at his 2 fingers, but unfortunately, my Taoist arts are profound and can reverse divine abilities. A single 2-fingered strike shatters the Buddha body, turning stone into gold. But the old Buddha did not vanish, instead turning into 1,000,000 copies. A tribulation transcendent stage expert can be reborn from a drop of blood, let alone me, who is already an immortal. Thus, every speck of dust can become me. Gyani calmly analyzed. The Taoist sects, 1 chi transforms into 3 pure ones, can create 2 identical selves. 3 selves fighting at the same time is the limit. There can't be thousands of old Buddha sumeris. At most, there are only 3 old Buddha bodies. To completely deal with this move, then I will turn the rain into weapons. The raindrops, like arrows, shattered the clones, engaging in battle with 1,000,000,000,000 old Buddha sumeris. The swarm of ants was wiped out, leaving 3. Found them, the 3 true bodies. The old Buddha admitted, Gyani, do you know your talent terrifies me? Standing before him was a peerless genius. I have lived for 9,700 years. Among the immortals I met in the first 700 years, not a single one was as powerful as you. In the 9,000 years since, I have met countless heroes, yet none could be stronger than you. Me neither. The old Buddha nostalgically recounted the past. Do you know, every time you went to explain what the Mahayana stage is, how to become Mahayana stage, I would go and listen in secret or in the open. Unfortunately, the one with the comprehension was not him. However, I couldn't understand what you were saying. If I could advance to the Mahayana stage, why would I need to kill people? Why would I have to do this? Gyani also shouted, how would I know? I have explained it thoroughly. How else do you want me to explain it? The old Buddha schemed to turn him into roasted meat. Try my samadhi, true fire. The raging fire penetrated Gyani Li's heart. The samadhi true fire is truly strange. This flame has already reached my Tao heart. Right now, my Tao heart feels like it's being burned by a fierce flame. Seeing his attack was effective, the old Buddha laughed loudly. Does your Tao heart, forged through 1,000 trials like steel, feel both hot and painful? The samadhi true fire erupts from within the heart, using the Tao heart as fuel, burning the body and soul. Even for someone with a firm Tao heart, their body and soul will be reduced to ashes. The samadhi true fire is still burning the Tao heart. He just kept laughing maniacally. Gyani condensed a heart sword, and with a single slash, he cut the true fire in his heart in 2. Seeing the situation was not good, the old Buddha changed his move. He actually cut himself to break my samadhi true fire. Then try the Buddhist kingdom in the palm. Seeing that giant hand coming again, Gyani couldn't hold back any longer. The old Buddha struck him with 1 hand, so he returned the favor with 1 hand. Because this palm strike was shattered, he also suffered internal injuries and vomited blood. Gyani pointed a single finger at his head. If you move again, I will shatter your spiritual platform. The old Buddha spoke. From the very beginning, you entered samsara on purpose, didn't you? You actually just wanted to say those words. To me, his silence was a quiet admission to this statement. Now it was Gyani Li's turn to ask, then after you became an immortal, why didn't you leave the 9 provinces and go to another world? The reason for it is, after old Buddha Sumeru's cultivation reached the immortal stage, the chaotic gales in the void were no problem. What's more, he was proficient in the Tao of space. Going to another place was as easy as turning his hand. Gyani looked at the old Buddha, whose head was bowed, but he just stayed in the 9 provinces, stayed on Mount Sumeru, as if he was waiting for me to come. He answered him, that's right, why, I don't know either. It's clear that if I went to another world, you wouldn't be able to find me. His voice sounded sad. Perhaps it's because I feel I'm not wrong. I feel you will understand, will forgive me. After all, I have saved the 9 provinces before. Looking at his old friend, who was like a withered autumn leaf, left Gyani speechless. He had to change the subject. Who is the venerable divine treasury? Where is the outer-worldly heavenly demon? It seemed the truth would be revealed, but everything you saw in the divine treasury sect is all that I know. The heavenly demon only told me that by believing in the venerable divine treasury and killing you, I could obtain the power of merit. The old Buddha admitted the doctrines about the divine treasury were all made up by me, based on his title. What he is, I don't know either. Perhaps he is the faith of the outer-worldly heavenly demons. His hand pointed to his mouth. As for the outer-worldly heavenly demon, I am also under the 6 harmonies seated forging curse and cannot speak. Even though I am an immortal now, actually, for this curse, the 6 harmonies seated forging curse, there is still a way to break it. That is for the cursed person to ascend to the same major realm as the one who cast the curse, and it will break on its own without needing to be dispelled. The old Buddha asked Gyani, do you understand? The opponent is 1 major realm higher than me, but only dares to do things sneakily. Gyani, he is afraid of you. This sentence truly surprised him. Old Buddha Sumru is an earth immortal, while the outer-worldly heavenly demon that infiltrated the 9 provinces is a heaven immortal. A heaven immortal is afraid of a Mahayana stage expert like me. That person was ridiculed by the old Buddha. I remember his cautious and wary appearance. Like a thief, it makes me want to laugh. Then he reflected on himself. But my appearance when I hid from Gyani to establish the Divine Treasury sect, secretly gathering the power of merit, wasn't it exactly the same as his? He thought so, inside. The other party had accurately calculated that I wouldn't tell Gyani about the power of merit, which is why they told me. In his eyes, am I that afraid of death? The story continues. I know you are investigating. Who told Jiang Yixing about the demonic path? It was that extraterrestrial heavenly demon who infiltrated the 9 provinces who told him. The old Buddha revealed a crucial piece of information. Have you ever thought about what the extraterrestrial heavenly demons are? Gyani, the Changsuan immortal, is speaking. He has definitely hidden matters related to the extraterrestrial heavenly demons. He shook his head. Perhaps you trust him, but I do not. A flame flickered at the old Buddha's feet. Gyani, you were right. The celestial phenomena have changed. The great fire thus engulfed his body. The heavens want to destroy us. Gyani watched the flame without blinking. Only you can protect the 9 provinces. His body was incinerated, leaving nothing behind, only a single Saraira. Gyani raised his hand to catch it. Where did the problem occur that led me to discover the divine concealment religion? That's right, it started when the heavenly slaughter pavilion sent assassins to kill me. Why did they do that? The perfectly round Saraira had a crack, an incomplete Saraira. It seems that after I passed the immortal ascension tribulation 15 times, their actions changed. Watching the fire burn, he wondered, is this change for the better? Gyani recalled the old man's words. The Changsuan immortal said that those extraterrestrial heavenly demons' origins are unknown, but they possess an intense desire for destruction. So the immortal world and the extraterrestrial heavenly demons have fought back and forth for several eras. Although the extraterrestrial heavenly demons are in a weaker position, their main base is very solid. Therefore, the immortal world has been unable to completely eliminate the extraterrestrial heavenly demons quickly. There was an incident 9,000 years ago. The path to immortality disappeared for some unknown reason. So the Changsuan immortal guessed that it was probably the work of the extraterrestrial heavenly demons. Seeing that they couldn't defeat the immortal world, they wanted to strike at the lower realms, slowly encroaching upon the worlds. The loss of the path to immortality meant the 2 realms were separated. The path to immortality was the only method of contact for other worlds with the immortal world. So the extraterrestrial heavenly demons made the path to immortality disappear, making it impossible for either side to find the other world. But the extraterrestrial heavenly demons have a way to accurately pinpoint the location of the 9 provinces world. So every few hundred years, an extraterrestrial heavenly demon finds its way to the 9 provinces. Each time one comes, it's an earthly, immortal level heavenly demon. Once it arrives in the 9 provinces, it will go on a ruthless killing spree. The 9 provinces naturally find it hard to resist and can only rely on the human emperor, the top experts of the tribulation transcendent stage, with help from the integration stage, plus other methods, immortal artifacts, and with the support of the rulers of nations and commanderies. Unfortunately, the 9 provinces are weakening day by day, but the foundation of the 9 provinces is constantly being depleted. The tribulation transcendent stage experts are constantly falling. 9,000 years ago, there were 20 tribulation transcendent stage experts guarding the 9 provinces. But now, they're only by Hong Tu, Yu In, the sect master of the Dharma Body sect, and Lu Tongling of the Human Emperor's Palace. These 4 are at the tribulation transcendent stage. Zhongli returned from the void to the perennially cloud-covered Mount Sumeru. After bidding farewell to the old Buddha, he flew down to the foot of Mount Sumeru with a calm mind. He passed the old Buddha's Saraira to his sole successor, Wuji. The remaining disciples also understood the situation. Killing people to face a tribulation was originally a concept of the Buddhist sect. But the old Buddha, for the sake of survival, had the human emperor Jiang come to punish him, which is also a cycle of karma. A scroll was personally handed to him by Wuji. Human Emperor, Master once said, "If you came looking for him, and he was not here, this is what I took from under the lotus platform. Please give it to you." Inside that scroll was a list of the followers of the divine concealment. Religion. The name of the cult leader reminded Jiang Li of some old stories. Qin Shi is this monk's secular name. This monk's secular name contains the character Shi, which was destined to have an affinity with the Western paradise. He thought to himself, this is the list of all the followers of the divine concealment religion. Normally, he should be able to remember all the believers, yet he deliberately kept this list. Forget it, I don't want to investigate the reason anymore. He looked at Wuji, who was clasping his hands in front of him. As for the Buddhist sect does not judge rank by cultivation level, but by Buddhist principles to determine status. The final master of Mount Sumeru will be the Buddha's son, Wuji. Jiangli left the Buddhist sect and continued his journey. As soon as he arrived, he met by Hong Tu. Where's the immortal elder? I have something to ask him. What happened at the Buddhist sect? He said anxiously, I sense the aura of an immortal. It seemed to be the old Buddha, but now I can't sense it anymore. Jiangli looked down at the ground and replied, the old Buddha has committed a capital sin. Watching his back as he left, Bai Hongtu thought the capital sin the old Buddha committed must have involved killing many people. But Jiangli wouldn't kill the revered old Buddha of Sumeru, would he? He was worried about Jiangli. Ancestral master is at the old place. Don't push yourself too hard. Just relax a little. But he couldn't listen. If you knew that a heavenly, immortal level extraterrestrial heavenly demon has been lurking in the 9 provinces for at least 380 years, could you relax? These are the words the old Buddha told me before he passed away. This news immediately stunned Bai Hongtu. A heavenly, immortal level extraterrestrial heavenly demon? What is this about? Ancestral Master Changsuan said that the extraterrestrial heavenly demons that can come to the 9 provinces can only be at the earthly, immortal level. He tried to remain calm. Moreover, once an extraterrestrial heavenly demon arrives in the 9 provinces, it's to kill people like a madman without reason. I've never heard of a heavenly demon that knows how to lurk. Also, if it had already arrived in the 9 provinces 80 years ago, then why didn't it just start killing people directly? After thinking, he turned to the person standing next to him. At that time, Jiangli wasn't even at the tribulation transcendent stage. So at that time, who could have stopped a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon? Besides, even the current Jiangli, could he stop a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon? Bai Hongtu frowned. Could it be that there's something else in the 9 provinces that makes the heavenly demon afraid? Unable to think of anything else, he led Jiangli away. Let's go see the ancestral master together. The 2 good friends went together to inquire with Changsuan. Immortal Jiangli immediately spoke. Immortal elder, are you sure that the extraterrestrial heavenly demon is only at the earthly immortal level? As soon as these words left his mouth, the Changsuan immortal spoke, as if reciting. Why do you ask this question? The extraterrestrial heavenly demons are indeed only at the earthly immortal level. In the immortal world, I have never encountered a heavenly immortal level heavenly demon. The advantages of the heavenly demons are only their large numbers, and their main base is very difficult to destroy. And one more point, they are brainless, with only strength. Jiangli then emphasized, but I have encountered a heavenly immortal level heavenly demon, and it has extremely high intelligence. How do you explain this? Looking at the person walking, he thought to himself, the Changsuan immortal definitely knows the inside story. For example, the reason why the extraterrestrial heavenly demons kill people, or the venerable divine concealment. Seeing that he could no longer hide it, he could only reveal, I lied to you. There are indeed heavenly, immortal level heavenly demons. The reason I didn't say so was because I was worried that if the 9 provinces knew about this, that a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon might invade. Your predecessors thought, what if they could defeat an earthly, immortal level heavenly demon? There are still heavenly, immortal level heavenly demons behind them. So in the end, they would still have to live in fear. The reason the secret was kept is that even after you reach the Mahayana stage, I didn't want to tell you this. This should be the time when you're most spirited. Why would I strike you down at this moment? In fact, there are even stronger enemies. The intelligence of heavenly, immortal level heavenly demons has also increased, making them even harder to deal with. Can you win? Regarding this concern, Zhongli said, the heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon seems to be very afraid of me. It doesn't dare to engage in a direct confrontation. Seeing this young man's unexpected confidence made the Changsun immortal almost choke. He opened his eyes wide and looked at Zhongli. This theory of yours that the Mahayana stage is above the earthly immortal. What kind of nonsense is that? I know you can fight above your level, but for the Mahayana stage to fight above its level is too absurd. Bai Hongta couldn't help but scold him. What did you fall from? Do you think you're the son of Old Man Heaven? I was just worried. What if there was a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon? Could you win? But now seeing you look like you're already dead, I thought you were ready for a death battle. His mouth puffed out, a waste of feelings. Ignoring his friend's attitude, Zhongli asked, if we say a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon arrived in the 9 provinces 380 years ago and has always been operating in the shadows. Immortal Elder, what do you think about this? The Changsun Immortal's face broke out in a sweat. You were only at the integration stage back then, and you could already threaten a heavenly, immortal level heavenly demon? All right, don't look at me like that. I don't know the reason either. After all, I'm just a small earthly immortal, not an omniscient and omnipotent being. Only now did Zhongli feel assured in his judgment. It seems the immortal elder really doesn't know. Is the immortal world really all right? Otherwise, why can the heavenly demons find the 9 provinces, but the immortal world can't? Moreover, on the stone tablet, the Tao ancestor himself recorded that the immortal world is in great chaos. The Changsun Immortal just reminded, you'd better not count on the immortal world to help the 9 provinces. Why do you think I returned to the 9 provinces, instead of staying in the immortal world, where immortal power is everywhere? He turned his head slightly. Immortals are all cold beings. They live for a very long time. They've even lost their humanity. They only care about the immortal world. They don't care what happens to other worlds. So I hate that kind of immortal world the most. His figure looked a bit lonely. As for what my master said, the great chaos in the immortal world, it's probably not the extraterrestrial heavenly demons invading the immortal world. You see, on a stone tablet, there's no mention of the words extraterrestrial heavenly demon. I feel like it's possible that the big shots in the immortal world are fighting among themselves. My master chose the wrong side, was kicked out of the immortal world, and then ran into the extraterrestrial heavenly demons. This information truly surprised Zhongli. There's internal strife in the immortal world too? Of course, one of the reasons you've already seen, the Red Dust Fairy. Besides that, there are disputes over Tao lineage and power, many things. After all, since they don't have to worry about the extraterrestrial heavenly demons threatening them, they're not afraid of internal strife. If you compare it to the 9 provinces of the past, you can also see that the 9 provinces are more united now. Before the path to immortality disappeared, there was always the immortal world as a backer. The number of civil wars in the 9 provinces was only slightly less than in the immortal world. Now that there are heavenly demons here, and you have the human emperor's palace, people don't dare to have internal strife anymore. The Changsun Immortal's gaze followed something in the distance. I originally didn't want to tell you these things, because what's the use of knowing? It's better not to know, not to hear. Then you can still hope that the immortal world will come to save the 9 provinces. Everything he had just heard made Zhongli wonder even more. What exactly are the extraterrestrial heavenly demons? The earthly immortal level heavenly demons are all irrational. How do they cultivate to the tribulation transcendent stage? The truth of this is that the heavenly demons' cultivation system is different from ours. They don't use spiritual chi or immortal power as energy, but but rely on negative emotions like anger, fear, despair, and impatience as food. Death is the greatest source of negative emotions. That's why they kill people. Some in the immortal world speculate that heavenly demons are born from the negative emotions of living beings. The next question relates to the old Buddha's case. Is it possible to gain merit by killing people? The Changsun immortal asked back, killing evil people or killing anyone? This question made him ponder for a long time before giving an answer. He began, "It sounded a lot like the work of the extraterrestrial heavenly demons." "What do you mean?" Mentioning the heavenly demons added a gloomy tone to the story. "I've only heard about it, never seen it with my own eyes. Someone on the battlefield secretly told me that the extraterrestrial heavenly demons have their own god. This god is responsible for distributing merit. Anyone who believes in this god and kills people can receive merit. It's hard to believe that such an unscrupulous god exists in this world. Does this kind of deity really exist?" Gyani probed. "So do you know the title of this god?" But even someone who had become an immortal couldn't answer. The immortal world manages this aspect very strictly. "I don't know." At least Gyani had more information. Indeed, whether in the 9 provinces or the immortal world, being able to gain merit by killing people, the attraction to cultivators is too great. This is a truly righteous, demonic path. Learning from the chubby old Buddha's experience, he didn't tell the Changsun immortal about the divine concealment religion and the venerable divine concealment. For the Changsun immortal, who only has immortal power, there's a possibility he would do the same thing as the old Buddha of Sumru, killing people to gain merit. He secretly calculated, "I dare not even calculate how much merit is needed to sustain an earthly immortal. As long as I am still here, the Changsun immortal doesn't need to act to deal with the extraterrestrial heavenly demons, so his immortal power won't be consumed." Gyani was so busy with these matters that in just a few chapters of the story, he had to keep flying around. Now it's the royal palace of a small country, daring to report to the great way that I cultivate the demonic path. I want to eradicate the root and exterminate the 9 relations of the Han clan. The girl beside him quickly reminded, "The minister only raised an objection. Why would your majesty kill so easily? Suspecting me is a death sentence." Unable to dissuade him, she said painfully, "You clearly weren't like this before. When you were an executioner, you were still a kind-hearted person, welcomed back by your hometown. Even when you were cultivating to the foundation establishment stage and encountered obstacles, you wouldn't be this irritable. But later it was different. As you gained enlightenment and broke through the foundation establishment stage, everything changed. Unexpectedly, you came to enjoy beheading." Every word spoken was like convicting him. "After becoming the state ruler, you started killing innocent people. Are you really, as everyone says, cultivating the demonic path, which is why you become so bloodthirsty?" "Insolence. Even you say that. There is no deathly resentment on my body, yet you suspect me of cultivating the demonic path." He shot up from his seat. "Originally, out of consideration for our childhood friendship, I kept you around until now. Now where are you? Drag her out and behead her." In the heat of the moment, the girl suddenly saw a newcomer. That guy was still screaming, "Guards, why aren't you coming in? Are you deaf? Do you want me to behead you all too?" It turned out Gyani had arrived and saved her. "You go out first. I have something to discuss privately with His Majesty." The guy trembled slightly upon seeing him. "I wonder why the human emperor has come. Is there anything I can help with?" His face showed a majestic air. "Didn't I already say? I'm handling business and need your help. To be specific, handling you." That guy was horrified. "Me? The human emperor must be joking. I have never violated the rules of the human emperor. Why would the human emperor want to handle me? As the human emperor, you cannot kill innocent people. Those words are ridiculous. How can it be that I, the human emperor, cannot kill innocent people, while you, merely a ruler of a small country, can kill people wantonly? What kind of logic is that in this world? Isn't that just bullying? An honest person? I just need to handle him and it's over. I've been killing for several months, and now you are the only follower of the divine concealment religion left. Congratulations, you're lucky. You're the only one who lived to the end. Regarding the matter of the divine concealment, I dare not entrust the handling of the followers of the divine concealment religion to anyone, not even the commanders of the human emperor's palace. The less you know about the divine concealment religion, the better. To prevent any mishaps, I even threatened the Rui Gord not to talk about the divine concealment religion to you, Een. To this day, Yu-In still thinks that Zun Yuan was a member of the demonic path. This period has been really busy. In these few months, I not only dealt with these followers according to the list, but also ensured they left no clues related to the divine concealment religion. Now, it's finally time to complete the work. This state ruler before me is the last one. That guy had already knelt down in helplessness. I still couldn't escape. I also see that the act of obtaining divine concealment power is similar to the demonic path. It just exploits a loophole in the 9 provinces definition of the demonic path. Zhongli knew full well. You yourself knew there was a problem with the divine concealment power. It just so happened that you were an executioner and could receive the divine concealment power. If it were just that, I wouldn't have come for you. The words flowed out. If you had only killed evil people to receive the divine concealment power, I would not have killed you. No matter how kind you were before, you changed later. Intoxicated by the feeling of obtaining the divine concealment power, wanting to become stronger, you started killing innocent people. In the end, you sat on the throne of the state ruler, holding power in your hands, using that power to kill people and clear yourself of suspicion of practicing the demonic path. He quickly clung to his last lifeline. That's right, this is not the demonic path, but my own power. I know your divine concealment power is not the demonic path, but Zhongli could not let him live. Just consider it as me killing an